there without my urban combat prototypes.
The Bayverse films get a bad rap, and for good reason. These movies look like they're made for 14-year-olds, but that doesn't mean they're not entertaining. And underneath the overuse of lens flares and fancy cars is true storytelling and heart.
My hero.
Really though, we take these films for exactly what they are. Silly action movies loaded with sexism. And that's not a compliment. Luckily, later installments of the franchise have dialed back the sexism quite a bit. But the damage was already done. One such culprit? 2011's Dark of the Moon, which has toxic male behavior throughout.
The curves. Elegant, isn't it? Beautiful.
The film is basically a car commercial on steroids, especially for Mercedes-Benz, who have two models in the film. The first, a silver Mercedes-Benz SLS AMG, which turns out to be Soundwave in a badly concealed plot twist. The second, a blue Mercedes-Benz E550, which is attached to what may be the ugliest movie character ever created, Q.
Oh, God, get here. My name's Q.
This variation of Wheeljack, whose name gets inspiration from the James Bond series, is a mess of clockwork parts cobbled together to resemble an aging robotic Albert Einstein. The character fulfills Wheeljack's role as inventor and is voiced by George Coe.
Those are boomsticks, armed in 30 seconds.
The term, to be a fly on the wall, is overused somewhat. But it's exactly what I thought of when I heard that one of our upcoming studio series releases was going to be Q from Dark of the Moon. I mean, can you imagine the horror on the face of the CEO of Mercedes-Benz when they open up the email from Hasbro that has a picture of this on it? How do you approve that? I think by giving it a pretty banging car mode. Let's see if they did just that. This is Studio Series Q from Dark of the Moon. Guys, let's get it. All right, let's take a look at the box. Here we have the new stark and slick black packaging. This is my second of this new style so far. Check out my previous video on Autobot Red Alert, who is part of the Age of the Primes line and has the same simplistic, classy look. The same legend as well right up here, which is new, which I love. Very enjoyable. Transformers Studio Series, Transformers Dark of the Moon, Wheeljack, or Q. So, not being a part of the Age of the Primes, we don't have our golden guys over here, our Primes. We just have a continuation of Q, which is not bad, pretty cool. It's Transformers Studio Series Deluxe Class. And same simplistic look on the back, with Q in his two modes. And that car mode does look really, really sweet. More than makes up for that. So, this same picture of Q on the other side that's on the front as well. Still a cool picture, but I guess that's what we're doing now. All right, well there he is, guys. Q. Let's get him out of there. All right, guys, first impressions. And besides the intentional ugly design of this character, I commend the audacity to make it not once, but twice. In this version, screen accuracy is on point, despite most of it being not painted. Now, where there is paint though, it is quite striking. There's metallic on the side here, is really cool, and some metallic here as well, and some blue to tie it all together. Now, all of his limbs are ball jointed, so they do feel pretty loose. And he is carrying the bulk of the car on his back. Articulation. He has a lot to be desired in the articulation department, even with these ball joints. So, there's quite a bit of kibble holding him up and a lot of moves. So the shoulders, despite being draped in car parts, can actually go out almost all the way. Can go out a little bit this way. You got to move them around and back a little bit as well. The elbow is on a ball joint. The forearm can move. The head is on a ball joint. Can go up and down a fairly good amount actually, and all the way around. The waist has zero articulation, zero movement on the waist there. The lab coat can move to the sides a bit, so you can get more of articulation in the legs, probably the best feature of all, although there's some kibble and things moving around, kind of stopping you from moving it around too much. So we can go all the way forward with the leg. We cannot go back because of the kibble. We can go to the side for the most part if you get some things out of the way, for sure. The knee joint is very solid, not in a ball, and the ankles have zero tilt whatsoever. And all right, let's transform Q, and this transformation is about as tedious as it gets. So the first thing we're gonna do is gonna take these and put them up towards the car right like this. Now we're gonna go to the back. Gonna take these long panels and bring them up. I got something that looks like this. We're just getting that stuff out of the way. Now let's move to the legs. This is a pretty cool part of the transformation. So we take the back part of the car, undo it like this, and we slide that to the middle. We rotate, and now we put the toe in and the heel in, and we keep that rotation going all the way up. And now we can put this part down. Let's do the same thing to the other side. Open that, bring it in, foot in, heel in, keep the rotation going, and now we can close this and put these together. Awesome. And now let's take these arms, and this is a bit of a tedious part. We're just gonna take them, and we're gonna fold them in. There's one, and there's two. We're gonna fold them in, and then you just kind of lock them together here. Bit difficult, perfect. Now though, we can start to just take it all and put it slowly in place. Start locking things in. Now this is a bit of a hard part. There's a couple of double joints on here, and we're just going to take this part and make sure it's in and get these car parts. Slowly just start to finesse and work those double joints that are right here. This double joint and this double joint. Once you do that, you can just slowly start to finesse, and you can see how it's all going to work out. A couple more little things, just snap it into place. A couple of small ones. And there we go. It's a pretty great car mode. And a couple of robot mode comparisons, guys. Here he is next to Age of the Prime's Autobot Red Alert. And here he is next to Studio Series 86 Bumblebee. And here's a couple of car mode comparisons, guys. Here he is next to a Legacy Hotshot. And Red Alert. All right, let's start with the positives with this guy. And the first main positive is that the car mode is just great. It looks wonderful, and it should be for a licensed model. He's screen accurate despite the lack of paint. The leg transformation is actually pretty satisfying. It's really neat how you can you slide them up and keep the rotation going. Pretty cool. The metallic paint and detail are on point. Really cool. All right, we got a few nit picks with Q here, and I'll start with the first one. Even though I love the car mode, there's something in the transformation here that is tarnishing up these two panels. I don't know if it's me not doing it properly, or it's just the way it is, but that's only after a few, and the car mode was almost perfect before that. He has a frustrating transformation with all of these double hinges that are very particular. The overall lack of paint does detract, for sure. The kibble, it's everywhere! All the ball joints, I know they're necessary, obviously, in these Bayverse figures, but they do get loose over time, so unfortunate. Okay, gang, final thoughts. Deluxe Q is a decent Studio Series release, but just barely passes the eye test with all of the unpainted parts. Now, couple that with the severely lacking articulation, especially when you compare it to most Studio Series releases. The car mode, though, is fantastic. I love that part of the car, but that's the only part of the toy I really like. So, I can't recommend it at full price, but if you can find this guy on a discount shelf, have at it. Well, that's Q. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today, gang. I know I make fun of the Bayverse films an awful lot, but I watch them an awful lot too. Getting into the lore is half the fun. And to some, the Bayverse films are their first foray into the Transformers fandom. And no matter how you became a fan, we are all one. So, how about you? Are you looking forward to getting Q? Or did I ruin it for you? I somehow doubt it, because Bayverse fans know exactly what they're getting into. But I would be remiss if I didn't mention that Q has pinned on wheels, which seems to be the norm for this new wave. And it's a welcome change. So, if you like what you saw today, guys, please give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. It means so much. And I'll see you next time on Dan's Vintage Toy Chest. Until then, play on.
I'm gonna run.